Welcome back to the channel. This is The Casuals. I'm Jin.
I'm Saki.
Today's episode is PowerWash. So yeah, we're back with another PowerWash episode. Hope you guys don't mind. And I have oops, sorry. Music got a little bit loud, but I have an interesting story, I guess, right? And from now on, I'm gonna try and like give a title to my stories, right? I don't know if you want to do that too, but for this one, I'm certainly gonna give a title because I think it's freaking hilarious. I guess we can get started on watching too. Um, so the title of my story is King of Hide and Seek. Are you ready for this?
I'm interested.
So, I want to say when I was in elementary school, so when I was a kid, probably around the age of 12, I want to say. It was probably around 12 or 11. Um, my sister had like a bunch of friends, and they would frequently come over to the house that we lived in, and they would do various things. And because, the younger sibling, whenever their older sibling's doing something, they want to be involved in it, right?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, like I want to play too, right? And so my sister's like, fine, right? And so, um, I guess to give it a little bit more context, I wasn't very liked as a kid, mainly because I was very loud and very annoying, like any kid really, to be honest. It's kind of normal kid behavior, but in particular, I was like actually really really annoying, like more than annoying the normal kids, I would assume. And so my sister was like, all right, let's play hide and seek. And I was like, okay. And I believe there was 6 of us in total. And so we were playing a little bit of hide and seek, went normal. And I have to describe the place where we lived in. The area that we lived in was kind of like almost like imagine like a gated community without actually a gate. You just kind of and then that like community is like only like maybe like I want to say a total of 15 houses or something like that, 15 or 16 houses, and it goes around in a circle, right? It loops in a circle, and then there's only one entrance and exit. But there's no gate. I just call it a gated community because that's like the closest I can describe it. But continuing on, in that gated community, it's pretty small. I would say there's still spaces where you can go on and about. And we were playing a little bit during the daytime, but actually no, in the afternoon. Sorry, and it was getting close to dark. I want to say it was around 4 to 5 p.m. ish, and so I think this is during the winter when like nights come fast, and so it was getting dark already, and we were like, all right, it's getting dark. For us, really, it was actually really dark. It was like actually like you couldn't. It was nighttime at that point, and so we were like, let's play one final game. We're like, all right, and so, if I had to describe it, there was houses in the middle, and then there's houses on the outskirts, and then there's road in the middle that creates the circle. And so the person that was counting down was counting at like near one of the houses at the circle, in the middle circle. Sorry, center of the house areas. And so what had happened was I had the genius idea of like, it's dark. I can probably camouflage in the dark. And so what I did was I kind of hid next to the seeker. There was one person seeking, and they were counting down. And when they were counting down, everyone, spread out, dispersed and went into hiding. And what I did was I saw that there was this person's house with a driveway. And I saw that they had like a little like next to the garage towards this, like because there's a protruding door like how the front door like it's like coming out and then like in towards the inward there's a garage next to the left of it. And so I saw that there was like a little garden with bushes, and I was like, oh, I can make use of this. And so I thought I was genius for this. I went right in there, right next to the car, because there was a car parked right next to that, in front of the garage in the driveway. And I literally crouched down and like kind of curled up into a ball while crouching down. And so the counter counted down, and when they finally counted down, they walked off immediately because most of the time Seekers don't usually, especially when you're playing at a young age, they don't look around immediately. They just like start running off. Um, and so they ran off, right? I think it was a dude who was doing it. And so the guy ran off and started going around. And then I waited and waited. I heard some commotion, waited and more. And I was like, man, I'm really good at hide and seek, right? Because they never found me, right? No one, like, I think one person came near me and didn't find me. So I was like, I'm god at, hide and seek. Because I was crouched up in the ball. I'm like, I feel like I'm a rock, right? I feel like I disguised myself as a rock. Like those ninjas, where you would imagine them turning into like a training dummy or like a wooden log, whatever. I think I was like watching Naruto at that time.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm turning into a rock. And so I was waiting and waiting, and it got to the point where I was just like, I don't hear anything anymore. What's going on, right? Did they just never find me, and they're like still searching for me, and they just don't know where I am? And so I think, right, in my mind, only 10 minutes had passed, and they hadn't found me. I was like, okay, game must be over by now because I'm not hearing any commotion. And so I stand up, take a look around, no one's near me. I kind of like walk out, I'm like, guys? Where are you guys? I walk around again, no one there, no one, like I don't meet anyone. Walk around some more, don't see anyone at all. I'm like, okay, that's weird, right? I go into the house. Turns out, my sister's already gone to her room. Her friends already left, they forgot about me.
Oh, dang.
So this whole time, my mom thought that I was back in the house because my sister had come back and said nothing. Meanwhile, I was outside for a good 30 minutes, right? A good 30 minutes outside alone, crouched up as a ball, thinking I'm a fucking rock. And thinking like I'm so good at hide and seek. Turns out, they just forgot about me.
Honestly, that's just sibling thing, I think.
And so, when I came back into the house, my mom's like, what the hell? I thought you were in the house. I'm like, no, I was outside playing hide and seek. And my mom got furious. So she went to my sister like, how dare you forget about, like, your brother, right? He's your little brother. He's only, like, 10 or 12. Or, like, 11 or 12. Like, what are you doing, right? And my sister's like, I forgot about it. And so that was... Yeah, so, that is my story of I was the king of hide and seek. In parentheses, not really. I was just forgotten. And so, I think, what was even better? I think later on, I realized that person who saw me, or like, remember that person that I told you about that walked near me?
Yeah.
I think they saw me, but because they didn't like me, they didn't say shit.
That, a bummer.
Yeah. So that is the story of how I became the king of hide and seek for that very brief moment. Turns out I'm not necessarily king. I was just left out of activities. But yeah, I don't know. I don't remember why I got reminded of that story because I just suddenly remembered. I'm like, I gotta tell this story. But yeah, that was just my story. Do you have any, I guess, like, because I do have another story, but I kind of just wanted to ask you, I guess, do you have any, like, stories that you wish to share? Like, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be, like, something like mine where, it's sad or...
It's not sad. It's just this is such a, like, I don't know, a brother thing, I guess. Because I have a brother, not a sister. So, back when we were children, you know how, like, when your older brother's playing a video game and you want to play with them and stuff, and they're like, no, I don't want you to play, but then your mom's like, plug in a controller and let your brother play with you, you know that?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure my brother did this. He was like, fine. So he plugged in a controller, but instead of me playing, I'm a little kid. Kids love candy, right? I'm a little kid, and my brother puts chocolate out on the table, like little Hershey's Kisses or something.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm a kid. I'm like, ooh, candy. So I went to that and got distracted while he was playing a video game, and I never ended up playing the game because he distracted me with chocolate.
He knew you too well,
dude. He knew.
Oh my god, distraction tactics are always the best, dude. Especially when you like, especially when they don't know any better, right?
Yeah. Because my brother, they're playing a game. They don't want you to play to mess them
Mm-hmm.
up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did. That's what I heard. That's what I was told for stories.
I remember this suddenly just unlocked the memory of me. I remember I was arguing with my sister when I was young too. I think this was still back in elementary. I remember I fought with my sister, not like physical fighting, but like just like yelling at each other, right? Arguing. Because we had those really old computers. Remember the computers back from like the 2000s?
Yeah.
I remember I fought with my sister over who gets to use the computer. I think during that time she was in, I want to say middle school when MySpace was still a thing, right?
Oh man. Yeah, that's old.
And I had no care about MySpace, but I really wanted to be on the computer because I really, really wanted to play Oregon Trail.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was so addicted to Oregon Trail back in the day, especially when the computer labs were happening.
Yeah.
I would just play that. Like I would always try hard. Like I would always try and like maximize the the rewards. Carefully pick out the wagons. Make sure I make the best choices. Make sure everyone survives. I was so addicted to that, and like I fought my sister just to play Oregon Trail, and she's like, "You're just playing Oregon Trail." I'm like, "I know, I love it."
Siblings.
Yeah, some sibling stuff, I guess, sibling behavior. But yeah, that's just like a little, I guess, fun story for my little adventures. Um, ooh, I suddenly remember. Do you remember me showing you? Remember how I brought up that screaming beaver?
Yeah.
Um, so I suddenly remember. I think that's located like. So okay. It's a weird like connection, right? Because that reminds me of one of like the places in Canada, kind of near Niagara Falls. Have you ever been to Niagara Falls through Canada specifically?
Yes.
So you know how I don't know if they still have it there, right? But back in the day, when you were going up, like when you were like in that kind of like town area near Niagara Falls where they sell all those souvenirs and stuff,
Yeah.
like you would see the wilderness still, right? Because it's still pretty like it was still pretty like wilderness out there. Um, they would like it's like kind of like wooden stores, whatever, like this cabin like stores.
Yeah.
Um, do you remember like the guard railings, like to keep people in? That had like, they were like those wooden logs too.
Yeah.
So after watching that video, it sort of reminds me of a moment of my like family going to Vancouver, or no, not Vancouver, but like to Niagara Falls in Canada, and I suddenly got unlocked like two core memories where it's like first one being like the coins, the like the oval coins that they like dispensed.
Oh, yeah, like they flatten out the penny or whatever.
Yeah, I remember. I think I got mine through like that like crank thing, whatever, that crank where you put a coin in or whatever.
Like 50 cents or whatever, and
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember having that. And then the second one was I remember my dad taking a photo on the log itself, like not the like the railing. Sorry, the wooden railing. I just suddenly remember that. It's kind of crazy because like I never really thought about it because I did not for the longest time remember going to Canada and going to Niagara Falls. But I started remembering recently, and I think that like beaver that's on that railing reminds me of that place, because he's on that railing next to like some forest.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just like a kind of like a core memory, I guess. But yeah, I guess just a little interesting tidbit. Have you ever been to places you're like your parents tell you like, oh yeah, you've been here, and you're like, I don't remember jack shit about that.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's come up once or twice.
There's so many of them that I don't remember at all, but there's so many that I do remember. It's kind of weird. You would think that you would remember, like, especially like when you had fun, like yeah, you were having fun and everything. You would remember more details, but like as time goes by, they're just gone.
Yeah, you just forget about it.
I remember going to Hawaii. I only remember one thing. Being in the water for something, and I don't remember what that was, and I think I was on a boat, and that's it. That's my only memory of Hawaii. I've been there once.
I've been to Hawaii a couple times, and I have a funny story now that you mentioned Hawaii.
Oh.
Okay, so we were in Hawaii. It was me and my family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mom, dad, brother, me, and we were at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So we checked in, so we're going up the elevator, getting to the floor we're at, and of course our room, is at the very end of the hall.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to walk down the entire length of the hallway, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at this time, it was, afternoon, so it was still sunny, pretty sunny and bright.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a at the end of the hall is a window, so
Mm-hmm.
you can see outside.
Yeah.
So my amazing self was like, I don't want to walk down this whole hall. It's gonna take way too long because I'm a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm gonna race you guys down there, and I'm gonna be the first one to get to the door.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm running, right? And all of a sudden, I hit that glass,
Oh
and
no.
I just smack into it and just fall down. And my dad looked at me like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." He's like, "There's a window there." I'm like, and of course I think about it now. I'm like, "Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. There's a window. I walked into it. Or
Uh-huh.
no, sorry, I ran into it
Uh-huh.
full speed." And he was just making fun of me because your kid, you just saw your kid running down a hall and just slam into a window.
Mm-hmm.
And that I just don't know why, because that happened in Hawaii. But I still get reminded of that I ran into a wall.
I guess in like kind of like a almost like side topic tangent, right? I don't know if this is exactly true or not, but I heard many people recounting like or agreeing with this statement. It's like if your kids get injured, right? Like not like a big injury, like a minor injury, like they get a cut or whatever, and they're like kind of bleeding.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is not to like be like, oh my god, like you know what I mean, like oh, like we gotta get you bandaged. It's like you either do one of two things. You just calmly speak to them, like all right, let's get you patched up and everything, right? Um,
Yeah.
or you just laugh at them, or you like just laugh, not in like the really mean laugh, but just like laugh, like oh silly you, right? Because like if you panic, they just look at you and because they're using you as reference, right? If you panic, they feel panicked.
Right.
And so that's what I heard. Like obviously, I feel like in my opinion, the best thing to do is just stay calm and like let's go, get you patched up, like, it's gonna hurt, but you'll be fine, and then they'll be calm. I feel like kind of laughing just really depends because the kids can, I guess, be somewhat insecure, but I feel like if you're young, I guess, like your only thought and reference is your parents, like you. Then I guess
Yeah.
it is fine to just like laugh because then they'll be like, oh, like haha, I'll laugh too.
There was a one, oh my gosh, this was actually my brother, but we have video of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a little kid, like elementary school. I don't even know if, no, I was probably like one, maybe two.
Mm-hmm.
I was real young, so he's like maybe 5 or 6, let's say. And he's just jumping around, jumping on the couch or whatever. And he jumps off the couch onto the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still jumping around, and then he accidentally hits his head on the table.
Ooh.
And he wasn't crying, but he wasn't like, it was painful.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad, of course, was videotaping it, and he was busting up laughing. And my brother, I think he probably walked to my mom to be like, "Hey, I hurt myself," kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And you hear my dad in the video as he's walking away. He's like, "Hey, why don't you just go smack your head against the wall now?" I was like, "Damn."
Dude, your dad is
He
a
was just laughing that my brother did like actually fell and hit his head, and he was just like, "You know what? I'm just gonna make something funnier." And he's like, "Hey, why don't you go hit your head against the wall now?"
honestly, I feel like during that time it might have been like, if I was like the other parent or whatever, I'd be like, don't do that, right? But like if you as you grow older and the kids find and that's like a good laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
Yeah,
I
he was
wish.
fine. He wasn't crying or anything.
Yeah.
He just wasn't
Ooh.
having fun after that.
Yeah. What was your worst injury? I guess in relative like, or what was your worst injury? But you were like relatively calm about.
Um, I don't know if this is my worst injury, but I remember this injury. So my brother was doing some type of project for school,
Mm-hmm.
and he was using, well, my mom was helping him use the hot glue gun to, I think it was science. It was probably a science project. Let's be
Mm-hmm.
real. And so I came down the stairs, and I was wondering what they were doing. And so I sat down at the table with them, just, observing them. And my mom's like, okay, this is how you use the hot glue gun. And so he was using it, and I had my arm on the like elbows on the table, like hands on my chin, just kind of looking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my brother puts down the hot glue gun right under my arm.
Mm-hmm.
So when I laid my arm down on the table fully, like my full forearm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was covered in hot glue,
Ooh.
and I had to peel it off, and I was like in pain. But it wasn't even on purpose. Well, I don't know if it was, but
You're
he
like,
was
wait a minute.
he was just doing a project, and he happened to put it directly right where I was putting my arm
Mm-hmm.
for some forsaken reason. And yeah, I ended up with hot glue on my full, like almost my full forearm that I just peeled off of me.
Damn, that sounds painful.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was at like elementary school, so grammar school still.
I just remembered something. So, you know how I remember when I first met you and I used to live there and I moved out of that place into that new area?
Yeah.
So, on the day that we were moving, right? Like one of the it's because I think it took like 3 days total for us to move. Um
Mhm.
I think on like the second day, I was left at the new house, right? Just because they're like, "Okay, you can like stay at the new house now. We're still going to go back and get some stuff, you know." Um but just stay here and wait patiently because there's nothing for you to do even at the old house. I was like, all right, and so I was waiting and waiting, and I thought I had a genius idea. Right, my genius idea was I'm gonna do something amazing. Um, oh, you know what? No, it wasn't when I moved. Sorry, rectify that. That was something else that was dumb, but like it wasn't an injury. It was something else. So it was at my rather at the new house that I was in. And I remember I really disliked how my arm was hairy.
Hmm.
And so I was like, I need to I want to get rid of it, right? And so I was like, I have an idea. I'm gonna wax it, right? So I convinced my mom to buy like those self waxing strips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna use this, and I forget about it for a while, and then I suddenly remember, and I'm like, okay, let me go, wax myself. And this is the time when I was alone, and so what had happened was I was laying around, and I had gotten an idea that I should wax myself when no one's home, and I followed instruction, or at least I thought I did, and I try and wax myself, right? I put it on. It's like sticky, whatever. I put it on my forearm, on my right forearm, and I wait. And I wait, and I'm like, okay, time should be up. Let me pull it off. And it would not come off. I'm like, that's not good. And so, in terms of waxing, right, what you're supposed to do, if you had done it properly, because I may have done it improperly too, in terms of application, was when you like peel off the I guess seal, right? You're supposed to do it as close as to your like wherever you're applying, and then like rip it off like straight off, right? You don't rip it up, you rip it like straight across, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's to ensure that your skin also like doesn't like grab your skin and like pull it up and causing more like potential injuries, and it's like the fastest and easiest way to pull it off. But what I had done was the opposite, where I pull it off slowly and directly up, right? And that hurt so much. It was burning pain because I had probably done it incorrectly, and I was peeling it incorrectly. And so I had luckily only done one patch. I was doing a test patch, and by the time I had actually ripped it off, my hair was somewhat like missing. You can see like where the hair was gone in like a kind of like a rectangle shape, and it was red. Like it was like red. I was like, that's not good. And so I ran it underwater, and then I think I had to like deal with that pain for like a week straight.
Yeesh. Sounds very painful. I've never whacked, so I can't.
10 out of 10 would not recommend. Especially when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
I
I
have
wouldn't
done,
want to do it.
yeah, I have done many stupid things when I was young. Like
I
the
just
time.
thought of a random hide and seek thing.
Oh, go ahead.
When I was a kid, I think and my brother, we were playing hide and seek,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I was a genius as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it was in the house. We were in our house.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still a young kid, like at grammar school, young,
Mm-hmm.
and we were playing hide and seek. My brother was counting, and I was hiding. So my smart ass was like, you know what? I'm gonna hide in the laundry dryer.
Mm-hmm.
So I climbed in, closed the door on me. Yeah, closed the door on me.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get out until my mom came home, and she heard knocking on the dryer door because my brother could never find me.
Uh-huh.
And so my mom came home, and she was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And my brother's like, "We're playing hide and seek. I can't find him." Little did he know, I was like trapped in the dryer.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom opened it, and she's like, "What the hell are you doing in there?" I was playing hide and seek, but I closed the door on me
Mm-hmm.
instead of just gently closing it so you could still open it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was never allowed to do that again for
That's
safety reasons.
that's something wrong. That's what I used to do too. I used to hide in the washing machine.
Ooh, I couldn't do that because it was a top loading, but
Oh,
our
okay.
dryer was a front load.
Yeah, ours was a
That's how I
front
got
load.
in.
I suddenly remember being in there because, but like, even if we closed the door on itself, like, it didn't matter because that was like one of the the quote unquote usual hiding spots. So like people would, my sister and I would look there immediately. So it wasn't a very good hiding spot after a while, but it was certainly a hiding spot when we were young.
Yep, that was my hiding spot. Yep, not very smart. It was a good
Oh.
spot. I was never found
Mm-hmm.
at the cost of I couldn't get out.
Ooh, once you finish up that, I think this is gonna think. I think, right? Let's see. Yep. All right. We're probably gonna have to end the episode here. Probably about only 33. It feels like we did half of it already, but no, it's 33. A third of the way. But yeah. We're gonna. Oh,
Part.
you're gonna just do that.
Yeah, because it's almost done here.
Gotcha. We'll do this part and then we'll finish up the episode.
Okay, you get that one. I'll get over here. Has it been that long already?
Yeah, it's we're 28 minutes in.
Oh wow, hasn't felt like a half hour.
I think especially when you're playing a game like this and you're just talking, time flies by fast.
Guess so, man. I didn't even realize it's been that long. I was like, yeah, it's probably been like 15 minutes. 15, 20 minutes. No. 30 minutes.
Yeah. So maybe when we're sharing stories next time, maybe we like it's not a mandatory thing, but maybe we come up with titles. There we go. Titles
There we
for
go.
it, if there is any to be associated. Like, mine and King of Hide and Seek, but not really.
Oh, I want to finish the floor.
We'll get there someday. We'll get there. But yeah, so I'm gonna end the episode here. It's been fun. Meanwhile, Saki must, has the compulsion to finish the floor.
It's bothering me.
I'll end the episode here while he does this. So I'm Jin,
And I'm Saki.
and this is the Casuals, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.